How's it going, guys? It's Paradise, and in this video we've bundled together all of the different tips, tricks and information that we've learnt from taking down Alatreon multiple times. So I really hope that the tips in this video help you guys out. There's going to be different things to do with how to deal with certain Alatreon attacks, what builds you should be using, different tricks that you can do with your item loadout and your item pouch, all different kinds of good stuff. So definitely let me know down in the comments below how you're getting on with fighting Alatreon, and also drop a like and subscribe for more content like this one. So first up, you should definitely be taking the Rocksteady Mantle into your Alatreon hunts. If you're hunting in a 2, 3 or 4 person group, then the person with the Rocksteady Mantle should be flying into the fight first. Now the reason for this is because the Rocksteady actually stops you getting flinched when the monster roars. So if you're the first person who jumps into the hunt, or if you're in solo and you go in, then you won't be flinched on that first initial roar, and it actually lets you do a little trick which you can either jump straight onto him and wound a body part, which is very useful to start the hunt off, or if you want to be even more cheesy, you can actually jump straight on his face, turn him twice, and then get an instant flinch shot in the wall behind him. Now there is a caveat to this, that if he does the lightning attack where he rears on his hind legs and shoots lightning spikes randomly all around him, then you will miss. But most other attacks, and the majority of the time, you can actually get a free flinch shot off right at the start of the hunt, simply by equipping a Rocksteady Mantle and going for that flinch shot very quickly. I do want to shout out Reliable Roy from the streams and the Discord for sharing this tip with us while we were taking down Alatreon. So thank you so much to Roy for giving us that little tip. So my second tip is actually going to be what items you should be taking, and also radial menu binds that you should be taking into this hunt, because it's very unforgiving. You can't use Farcasters, so you can't restock unless you actually cart. So you definitely want to be taking your 10 mega potions as well as your 2 max potions, and I even actually advise that you bring your ancient potion as well as 2 dusts of life. That will definitely help you out, and the Dust of Life can even be used in solo hunts as a very quick chunk of your health bar back. But on top of that, you want to also be bringing 5 Mega Nutrients as well as 5 Mandragora, which you can use to craft into additional max potions. And max potions are really good because you can instantly eat them and restore yourself to max HP. And as long as you bring these 2 items and bind the craft to your radial menu, you can very quickly, in the middle of a hunt, just after being attacked, quickly craft and then eat a max potion, up to a total of 7 times if you bring these in your hunt. You should also be bringing 10 additional regular potions as well as 10 honey, so that you can then craft an additional 10 mega potions. That means that you'll have a total of 20 mega potions, which is definitely going to really help you out. And although maybe overkill for solo hunts, in multiplayer hunts bringing 10 additional god bugs and 4 additional gloom grass buds will mean that you can actually craft additional Dust of Lives, which is going to be really helpful for saving your teammates. Obviously you're going to want to bring 5 Astera Jerky, but you can also bring the Great Sushi Fish Scale. This will actually function the same and cure the bleeding, but it will also give you a natural healing boost, which will just sort of give you the edge. So if you've done a lot of fishing, those Great Sushi Fish Scales are going to be really useful for you now. On top of that, if you have done a lot of fishing, definitely bring your Wet Fish Fin Pluses. These basically act as a maximum sharpness tool. You can simply use this, it does 1 scrape, and it instantly repairs the sharpness of your weapon. It's far better than having to slot speed sharpening into your build. It basically does it for you, and because it's the Wetfish Fin Plus, it has a chance to not be used when you use it. So you can bring 5, but they may last 10, 15, 20 times. On top of that, you of course want to bring your Armor Talon, your Armor Charm, your Power Talon, and your Power Charm for the extra stat bonuses, but let's not forget about items that buff you up. You definitely want to be bringing Demon Drug as well as armor skins. You can of course bring the mega versions if you have them. I personally also like to bring Hardshell Powder and Demon Powder, as well as a Might Seed and an Adamant Seed. And I simply activate all of these buffs together before I jump down. Everything except for the actual potion style buff items, such as the powder and the seeds, only last for 3 minutes. but that is still 3 minutes of extra stats at the start of the hunt, which will really help you out. Again, make sure that you are binding all of these on your radial menu by going to Customize Radial Menu and then Quest Settings. For me, I like to replace where the whetstone is with the Wetfish Fin Plus, and then I like to add a Stera Jerky at the bottom. For your Max Potion and your Mega Potion and your Dust of Life, just simply binding the items there will automatically craft them when you hover over it after they run out. So all you need is one page for your new item loadout, and you'll have everything you need for the hunt. Next up, we have this community-made chart, so shout out to GDemSeth from Reddit for showing this off. It seems like it is basically the estimate for the different DPS check thresholds for each weapon on Alatreon. You can see that different weapons have different modifiers. This is obviously because different weapons deal different amounts of elemental damage, and it also ties into the attack speed and the motion value. It's a whole different calculation. We do have a video on elemental damage here on the Arekkz channel, so check that out if you're interested to really dive into the maths. But essentially you can see all the weapons have different values and different amounts to hit for the threshold. The faster hitting weapons like the Dual Blades have a lower modifier because they hit a lot quicker, so they'll reach that number a lot faster, while the slower weapons like the Greatsword have a higher modifier because of course they're slower hitting, so they don't hit as much elemental damage. That being said, a lot of people have found great success by using crit draw elemental builds for the Greatsword. I personally have found great success using the Charge Blade, which is very interesting because you can see the Charge Blade files require a huge amount of elemental damage, but I believe this is because the elemental files on the Charge Blade deal completely total pure elemental damage versus every other weapon that deals a portion of raw and a portion of elemental bound together in that damage number. So while it may look like the Charge Blade is the most difficult, I actually think it's one of the more easy ones. I personally am a Switch Axe main and have found most success using the Charge Blade, maybe because the files deal pure elemental damage, or maybe it's because the Charge Blade just has a lot of different combos, a lot of mobility, and a lot of guard points in it. So I do recommend trying out different weapons, use this chart as a reference, and see how you get on. If you are really struggling and you do know how to use the Charge Blade, give it a try, because I was just doing it way easier with the Charge Blade when I've done maybe 4 or 5 times more hunts with the Switch Axe. Do also let me know down below if I am correct about the pure elemental damage on the elemental Charge Blade files. Moving on to our next point, it's going to be about different attack openings in Alatreon's attack patterns that you really need to make sure you are using and taking advantage of in the fight, because it will really up your DPS across the board by doing this, and it will really just make the fight a lot easier as you sort of learn his move patterns more. Now, we do have an Alatreon tips video already that covers quite a few tips, so definitely do check that out. It will be down in the comments below. However, I want to highlight 2 really important ones. The first thing is going to be a flinch grapple. There will be certain points throughout the hunt where you will flinch Alatreon, and he will sort of just sit there for a few seconds, but if you grapple onto him, it will keep him staggered in that spot for a good few more seconds. You can abuse this time to have your teammates attack in multiplayer, or to simply apply a wound in single player. It's literally free damage and a free wound, so you want to be doing this every time you see it. The other attack pattern to look out for is the breath attacks. When Alatreon flies into the sky and does either fire or ice breath straight down, you want to be learning this move and simply grappling onto his face when he does it. You should be learning not to run away from the breath attack, but instead grapple onto his head and apply a wound there. It means that instead of taking damage and running away and adding to your downtime in DPS, you are instead increasing your damage against him and applying that wound, which will make horn breaks or just general DPS a lot easier. So moving on to our next point is that once you've taken him down a few times, there's actually a really incredible armor set that you can make. It's simply a 3-piece Saphi set, so you get that 3-piece Saphi bonus, as well as the 2-piece Alatreon set bonus, and then you apply a bunch of different resistances on it, and it all combos together to give crazy elemental damage and crazy tankiness. It's an incredible set. Once you've beat Alatreon, it's very easy to make, so definitely craft this set here. You can see it on the screen, 3-piece Saphi and 2-piece Alatreon. It's super good, and it's extra good against Alatreon himself, so if you have beat him a few times, consider making this and then jumping back in to farm him for the rest of the set. Moving on to the next point is going to be which weapons you should be picking up. Now, I really think it's subjective, and it's kind of up to you if you want to use these weapons. Not a lot of monsters are that weak to the dragon element outside of Bambaro and Savage Deviljho, but they all do look really cool, and you can still unlock them and upgrade them to unlock the actual layered armor transmog. So I really do suggest that you actually get the longsword because it looks really cool. It's a scythe. However, also pick up the light bowgun. It can do every elemental damage shot, can do rapid fire. It's an incredibly strong weapon. Do not miss out on that light bowgun. Moving on to the next point, it's actually going to be a cheese set that you can use to kill Alatreon without any elemental damage before he can even do Eschaton Judgment. It's really crazy that this works, but it does work. You simply shoot him 1,000,000 times with Pierce Shot, and it just does so much damage, especially in 4-person scaled hunts where everyone's really focused and using the correct build with the correct decorations. But it's a really easy way to get basically a 2 or a 3 minute kill time on Alatreon without using any elemental damage. It's quite crazy to see, but it does work. So maybe you could try it out with your friends if you're feeling daring. And then finally, the next build is actually going to be the Sticky Light Bowgun build. This is an older one. This is one that a lot of people already know about. But if you have now beat Alatreon and you are looking at what you should be making in this sort of endgame state of Monster Hunter World Iceborne, the Sticky Light Bowgun set is simply one of the best. It may not be the coolest, it may not be the most engaging set to use, but if you are really struggling in the game, or if you just want to have this build saved in your build book, then I really recommend that you make it and have it there, because it's fun to use once in a while, and it is a great way to cheese certain monsters if you're missing maybe 1 or 2 parts for a build and you can't be bothered to go back and remember that monster and try hard it. So that's our post Alatreon tips. Do let me know down in the comments below if you have any endgame or Alatreon tips as well that I might have missed out or you've just thought of that would be really helpful to other people. Do put that down in the comments below. Drop a like and subscribe if this video helped you guys out. Make sure you're staying safe out there. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, you can join the Arekkz Gaming Discord. We've got an awesome community over there with so many different channels for you to chat loads of different topics and different games. I'm in there, the team's in there. If you guys want to chat with us, find people to play with, it's just in general a great place to be. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads.